Welcome again to the Medical Terminology Podcast. This episode is Chapter 12, Part 4, Skin Lesions 3. In this episode, we're going to wrap up the skin lesions. Most of the lesions in this episode are caused by trauma. Trauma is the medical term for an injury that you would suffer in an accident. The first group relate to bleeding under the skin. The first term is ecchymosis, ecchymosis. Now, ecchymosis is a general term. It is the general term for a large, irregular area of purplish discoloration due to bleeding under the skin, and this could have a variety of causes. This term is broadly known as a bruise, as in a bruising of the skin. Now, the second term is easy to confuse with the first one. The second term is contusion, contusion. A contusion is an injury characterized by discoloration and pain, commonly known as a bruise, as in he bruised his knee when he ran into the door. Okay, so we need to be careful to distinguish ecchymosis and contusion. In a contusion, we're going to have a discoloration. We're going to have what we all know as a bruise. But a contusion is a bruise that's caused by an injury. And so it includes not only the discoloration, but also pain. There could also be some swelling. Okay, now an ecchymosis is a much more general term. It refers to the discoloration itself, which may or may not be caused by an injury. One could have a bleeding under the skin or a bruising that's caused not by an injury. You didn't whack yourself against a table leg or something, but because you have something going on inside your body that is causing a bleeding under the skin. Okay, so if we're talking about an injury where there's discoloration and pain, commonly known as a bruise, that is, as in you bruise your knee, that's a contusion. Okay, a contusion is the injury. If we're talking in a more broader sense about a discoloration under the skin, a bruising that could be caused by a variety of things, then we want to use the term ecchymosis. The next term is purpura, Purpura. Purpura describes multiple purple discolorations of the skin. Each discoloration is smaller than an ecchymosis. We go back to ecchymosis, it is a large single area of discoloration caused by blood under the skin. Purpura would be multiple discolorations, and each one is going to be smaller than that large ecchymosis. Next we have petechia, Petechia. Petechia are small pinpoint hemorrhages that are less than 2 millimeters in diameter. Very small, fine, pinpoint little dots under the skin, each one being an individual bleeding under the skin. And finally, we have hematoma. A hematoma is a swelling of clotted blood trapped in tissues, and it's usually named for the area in which it occurs. Back in the neurological chapter, we talked about a subdural hematoma. That was a collection of blood trapped in the tissues beneath the dura in the brain. In this chapter, they talk about a subungual hematoma. A subungual hematoma would be a hematoma that's underneath the fingernail. Again, remember, unguo refers to fingernail, so subungual would mean pertaining to under the fingernail. Okay, that's it for bleeding under the skin. Again, where most people have trouble is they get confused on what is an ecchymosis and what is a contusion. Contusion is an injury. You not only have the bruising or the discoloration, but you also have pain. probably some swelling also. Ecchymosis is a more general term for any purplish discoloration due to bleeding under the skin. Okay, the next part we have are the lesions through the skin. Lesions through the skin are those that break the skin. That's what we mean by through the skin. It's breaking the skin. And again, these are going to be caused by some type of trauma. You get hurt, your skin gets broken. Number 1 is abrasion, abrasion. An abrasion is an injury in which the superficial layers of the skin are scraped or rubbed away. This is commonly known as a scrape. If you fall down and scrape your knee, you've got an abrasion. The next term is laceration, laceration. A laceration is a torn or jagged wound. It's commonly known as a cut. So if you're in the kitchen and you make a mistake with a knife and you cut yourself, you have lacerated yourself. The next term is fissure, fissure. A fissure is a groove or crack-like break in the skin. Then we have ulcer, which is a term most of us have probably heard of. Ulcer, ulcer, is an open lesion of the skin or a mucous membrane resulting in tissue loss. A common example would be the aphthous ulcer or the canker sore, and we also have all heard of ulcers in the stomach. Next we have pressure sore, pressure, and sore. A pressure sore is a type of ulcer caused by prolonged pressure, which causes tissue death. This is commonly known as a bed sore. It has also been referred to as a decubitus ulcer. And finally we have puncture wound, puncture, wound. And this is just like it sounds like. This is a deep hole made by a sharp object such as a nail. You get punctured by a nail. You get a deep hole in your body, in your skin. Okay, let's go ahead and do some practice over these terms. What is the term for a large area of purplish discoloration under the skin? That's an ecchymosis. ecchymosis. And what is the medical term for a cut? That's a laceration. laceration. What is the medical term for an injury to underlying tissues that's characterized by discoloration and pain? That's a contusion. contusion. Again, that's what we would commonly call a bruise. What is the term for a collection of blood trapped within tissues? That's a hematoma. hematoma. Again, an example from this chapter is the subungual hematoma. What is the medical term for an injury in which the superficial layers of the skin are scraped away? That's an abrasion. abrasion. What is the term for small pinpoint hemorrhages less than 2 millimeters in diameter? That's petechia. petechia. What is the term for an open lesion in the skin resulting in tissue loss? Ulcer. ulcer. What is the term for the condition commonly known as a bed sore? That's the pressure sore, Pressure. And what is the term for a groove or crack-like break in the skin? That's a fissure, Fissure. And finally, what is the term for a deep hole made by a sharp object, such as a nail? That's a puncture wound, Puncture, and wound, Wound. Okay, this last episode was a short one. This is wrapping up the skin lesions, those related to traumas. In the next episode, we're going to move away from the lesions and talk about the general skin conditions that people can have that cause a variety of lesions. Again, the lesions are not diseases of themselves, they are symptoms of something else that's happened. So this ends this episode of the Medical Terminology Podcast.